And this is another thing we want to speak to today, and that is when these negative emotions arise in us, it's the common tendency for us to want to get past it. Let's get through this as quickly as we can so that we can get on to whatever. And we want you to know that every part of the process of our personal and global integration and becoming aligned with Source, every part of this evolution is precious. And what happens is that this sense of preciousness, the further along we are in our resolution and evolution into this harmony, the more we appreciate the process. And in trying to rush through the process, we actually create a little more disturbance for ourselves because there is this pressure to get it done, to get moving, to get to enlightenment. And we want you to know that the quest for enlightenment is forever, that there is always more, and that the sooner we can come to the understanding that appreciating this evolution as a process that we are participating in and have been participating in for a very long time, that the process itself is actually it's actually part of the point, and part of the joy of evolution is the participation in the process. And time, this desire to get through it, actually slows down and obstructs the process because we're putting an extra pressure into the process that isn't really necessary. And if we can stand back and say, wow, this is like a seed being nurtured in the darkness and beginning to grow. And would you be angry at the seed because it's still in the ground and it hasn't yet emerged into the light? Well, this is kind of how we treat ourselves. Do you treat that seed as it's less than because it's not yet sprouted? Do we treat the sprout like it should be ashamed because it's not a full plant? Do we treat the first leaves as though they're unwelcome because they're not completely a tree? So we have to reevaluate how we look at ourselves in this evolutionary process and understand that we are a miracle. We are a miracle of process that is emerging from one state of being into another, and that there is nothing wrong, and that there is no hurry, and that there is really nothing less than. We are participating in the miracle of evolution in real time. And the difference between where we were 5 years ago and where we are now is unbelievable. And the difference between where we are now and where we will be 5 years from now is also totally miraculous. And that nothing is wrong with where we are now. It's just where we are. And that if we can accept ourselves and love ourselves as we are, that allowing of the love in is part of the process of becoming that love, of reaching to our source energy, and that our discontent actually obstructs our process in becoming the miracle that we are of total unity. And there is also we just want to let that sink in again, that there is a perfection that has already taken place. In this moment, there is a perfection of the moment. And we can appreciate ourselves in evolution, in this moment. And in that self-appreciation, in that allowing of ourselves to be perfect in this moment, it's not that we're becoming more perfect, we're becoming more aware. The perfection already exists. We are already alive. This is a miracle. We are alive and growing, and we are participating in growing our awareness. This is a miracle to be celebrated with every breath, with the understanding that as we breathe deeper and deeper into this source of I am that our awareness is expanding, and that this itself is a miracle to be celebrated. That our being, that the human creation, that a fetus grows inside a woman and then is born as a human being. This is a miracle beyond miracles. I mean, this is just amazing. And because it is familiar, we lose our appreciation for it. And when we understand that we are a living being, that we are growing and nurturing, and we are growing and nurturing our awareness, then there's a sense of tenderness that we can have toward our own process, a sense of allowing our own participation to unfold in its time, whatever that time is. And all of us will find this growth process much more pleasurable as we even appreciate the pain, knowing our matrix's belief is that when we run into pain, that pain is going to last forever, right? When we run into depression, we're sure we're going to be depressed for the rest of our lives. When we are angry, we must express that anger, and we become anger for, it feels like it's forever in the moment and we have to get it out. This is delusion of matrix of belief, that these states are permanent when we experience them. And as we understand that, we can stand back and appreciate this as participating in our own evolution, as we get a little bit more and more capacity to witness our evolution. And in that capacity as witness, we begin to gain more and more self-awareness in our own participation. And these things become experiences that naturally evolve, and we begin to have less resentment toward ourselves for experiencing unwanted emotions. And when we understand that these unwanted emotions are actually parts of ourselves coming forward to be seen and loved into harmony, then how can we resent them? How can we be angry? How can we want them to go faster? We want them to be resolved into harmony. And when we allow it to happen in its own time, we are actually being tender with ourselves and allowing our completion to happen at its own pace, at its own rate, in its own time. And we begin to truly trust this source energy that is bringing us to completion. It has brought us this far. We're having this conversation. We're participating in the understanding of who and what we are, where we came from, and where we're going. And as we feel that tenderness toward our own process, we are so much closer to becoming the love that we are. And you can feel the completion at the end of that sentence that is beyond words. So, this allowing that we speak of is a deep allowing of our own process as we come into union with divinity itself, which is pure love. Thank you so much. How may we serve further?